Welcome to the Goalbusters Expert Peak Productivity Tips podcast, where top business experts get just 7 minutes to answer 5 rapid-fire questions about what they do and how they stay productive. Each episode is packed with actionable insights to help boost your efficiency and achieve your goals. Let's dive in and unlock the secrets to peak performance. Well, hello everyone. I'm Robin J. Emdon, creator of the Get Resultsology system and an accountability coach. I help people harness productivity to achieve meaningful results, increase income, grow their business, and create success that resonates with their authentic selves. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to Kendra Swalls. Kendra is a mum of 2, former teacher, and a full-time photographer and business coach. She's also the host of the successful Girl Means Business podcast that delivers weekly doses of business and marketing tips for creative female entrepreneurs. Her approach to marketing is refreshingly simple. It's not about stress or overwhelm, but about connecting with your ideal audience and building genuine relationships. Through her own experiences, Kendra has learned that every solopreneur can succeed with the right mindset, tools and support, and she's here to share her insights with you. Kendra, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I appreciate you having me on.
I'm absolutely thrilled to have you. I'm really excited and looking forward to our conversation today. So whereabouts in the world are you, Kendra?
I am in Dallas, Texas, in the US of A, where it is October and still hot. So
it's always hot in Texas.
It's always hot. I know. We get a very brief reprieve and then we get like cold, wet, gross, and then it goes back to hot again.
Well, as you can probably tell from my accent, I'm not in Dallas. I'm in Torquay in South Devon in England, but I've been to Dallas and I did wave, but you didn't wave back. I think you were doing something else at the time and it was about 20 years ago, so you probably missed it. So, okay, so shall we get on with the questions? Remember, we've got 5 questions and 7 minutes, which is more than enough time to have a very meaningful conversation. So I'm going to hand the floor to you just by asking you the first question, which is, Kendra, I'll start the clock and then ask you, who is your ideal client?
My ideal clients are photographers, specifically female photographers. And really creative business owners in general. I've also worked with artists and, event planners, things like floral design people. But usually it's someone who is kind of early on in their business and they really love the creative aspect of their business. But then the marketing side, the strategy side does not come as natural to them. So they need someone to help them kind of merge the two so that they can have a successful business.
Okay, perfect. I love, as I told you before the call, I love photography. It's my passion too. So I'm really excited to hear what you're saying. So you've already covered it a little bit with when you're describing your ideal client, but can you go into the specifics a little bit more of the problem that you solve?
Yeah, so a lot of times creative business owners, they get into business because they are passionate about something they love doing, like photography or creating works of art or designing floral designs, things like that. And they think originally like, all I need to do is create this beautiful thing and put it out in the world and the people will come. It's that field of dreams idea of if you build it, they will come. And unfortunately, that's not how marketing really works these days and probably not really has for a long, long time. And so they get into this position where they're like, oh, I want this business to be successful. I want this to be really something that can support my family or be something that I can do full time. And they need someone to come in and help them understand the more strategic side of the business so that they can focus on the creative side and let everything else kind of run behind the scenes in their business.
Perfect. And you're right. Field of Dreams is such a brilliant movie, but it is pure fiction, sadly, pure fiction. Yeah. So, and it doesn't make any bones about the fact that it's pure fiction. It's all fantasy, isn't it? So, Kendra, thank you for that. What is the most valuable free action that the audience can implement that will help them solve that problem?
Yeah. So one of the first things I tell my audience to do, or a client that works with me, is to kind of go in and do a quick audit of where your clients are coming from right now. And this is something that a lot of times we don't focus a whole lot or pay attention to. We might have a little drop down on our contact form. How did you hear about me? But we never really go look at that. So look and see, like, where are your clients finding you? Are they all coming from word of mouth? Are they coming from social media? Are they coming from Google searches? Are they coming from, one specific referrer that's a business that's maybe sending you clients? And then that tells you where you need to focus your marketing efforts. Because the problem I see a lot is, especially with social media, like photographers, for example, they will put all this energy, 90% of their marketing effort goes into social media. But once they realize that only like a small fraction, 2, 3, 4% of their clients are actually coming from social media, it's an imbalance in where they're spending their time versus the result they're getting. So doing that audit is a really great way to kind of look at where should I be focusing my efforts and how can I kind of redistribute that effort in my business.
I love that. It's so basic what you're saying, but as you say, people miss it.
Yeah.
And they overcomplicate things and then they wonder why it doesn't happen. That's brilliant. Thank you. So now we know a little bit more about what you do. Let's talk about goal busting, meaning how do you make the best use of your productive time to achieve your own business goals? So can you share any tips or advice for someone looking to improve their productivity habits?
Yeah. So for my audience, a lot of them are moms with either young children or children in school age. My kids are both school age now. So I've kind of had it both ways. But the struggle is that kind of trying to find that balance between how do I have working time and how do I still have time to be a mom and spend time with my family. So my advice for that, biggest thing that's helped me is having time blocking. So setting aside, even if it's 30 minutes or an hour, sometimes 90 minutes if you can. And that is focused work time where you're like, this is what I'm working on. Having a specific task, not just sitting down at your computer and going, what can I get done in this 30 minutes? But having a specific task that is like, in this 30 minutes, I need to respond to all these emails, or I need to create this client proposal, or I need to edit this session. And if you have a specific task and you have a block of time that is, you are away from all your distractions, to put your phone on do not disturb, turn on some background music and get the work done, then you'll feel at the end of the day, you've been able to check more things off your to-do list and you feel like you've been more productive. Even if you weren't necessarily working all day long, you had these little bursts of energies. And then in between, you can go do the things that are like, put the laundry away, help your kids, go run an errand, whatever you need to do. But you've had that block of time where you've been really productive and you feel accomplished in something for that day.
I'm so glad to hear you say this, because when I was writing this section in my book about, working from home mums specifically, or in my case, I'm a single parent as well, a single dad. I explained that there is no one solution for parents, because everybody has unique situations. Some people have extended family they can leave the kids with. Some people, their kids are of school age and so on. It's a really challenging situation. So it's always good to hear insights from other parents about what they do. So thank you for that. It was very powerful, very good tip. So now I shouldn't say this because question 4 is kind of the purpose of the podcast, but I like question 5 more because I never know what's going to be said. What should I have asked you today, Kendra, that I didn't? And obviously your answer.
So the question I get asked the most from my clients and things is, how do I manage my schedule when it's not consistent day to day? So in a perfect world, we would have the same schedule every day. We would know when our blocks of time are. We would know when we have this and that done. And that's not reality. For example, when I leave here, I'm going to go to my kids' school. I'm a PTO mom. I'm president of our PTO, and I have to go help out with some school stuff, which means my afternoon work time is done. So knowing that it's going to be flexible, being okay with that flexibility, and knowing your schedule ahead of time, where if I know today is going to be spent doing stuff with my kids, I stacked up my work yesterday and I got a lot of things done. So just being flexible and not putting too much pressure on yourself and not being too hard on yourself in that space.
perfect timing as well. So you weren't flexible with your timing, which I like, but your tip about flexibility is a hugely valuable one. As I often say, you also need to have backup plans for your backup plans. That really helps with your flexibility, because then you kind of you don't start panicking if, like most common thing that always used to happen to me was, oh, it's the school here on the phone ringing to say your son's forgotten his packed lunch again. Oh gosh, there goes an hour of my morning straight away.
Exactly.
Or he could starve. Probably not. Not an option.
Yeah.
Kendra, that was brilliant. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Some fantastic material there. I'm going to enjoy listening to it again and make some notes about the things you said. That was really useful. So how can people connect with you? What's your web? You have a website. If you could give us your website address. Also, do you have like a free resource, what I call a valuable free resource? If it's a long link, I can post it with the podcast and the YouTube video in the text. If it's a short link, I'll put it on the YouTube video. And of course, you can say it now.
Sure. Yeah. So my website is just girlmeansbusiness.com. And that's kind of my home base for all the things. You can find the podcast information there. You can also find the podcast Girl Means Business anywhere you get podcast episodes. And then social media, same thing. I'm on Instagram at Girl Means Business. If you go onto my website, I do have a resources page where I have a couple of free resources. My number one resource that I have is a free email marketing starter kit. So it helps photographers and small business owners get started with email marketing, which is one of my number one marketing tips and advice that I always tell people to do. So that's on there as well. And there is one that helps you kind of know what is the niche that you should be a part of or that you should be focusing on. There's a couple really great free resources on there, but they're all at girlmeansbusiness.com.
Perfect. And that will be splashed across the video. And you've said it also for our podcast listeners too. Absolutely ideal. Kendra, it's been an absolute pleasure and a real joy and very, very educational. Thank you so much, Kendra.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And thank you again. Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in to Goalbusters. If you're enjoying it, please subscribe, rate and review it on your favourite podcast platform. Your support is very much appreciated. And if you're ready to boost your online profits, skyrocket your productivity, crush procrastination, and see a positive change in your bank balance, all within just 30 days, this is your opportunity. Take my free 5-day challenge at www.skyrocketyourproductivitychallenge.com.